as you guys had decided to set off in the morning. You're going to make your way to Easthaven. I think you said you were going to make your way across the plains, not take the road, to try to get there in like 9 hours in order to hopefully beat the execution of this wizard that you've heard about is imprisoned in Easthaven. So that's actually where we're going to start, is that morning. And I believe the first person up this morning is Laja.
Okay. So in the mornings, I think what Elijah usually does is, you know, do her prayers for the day, set up her spells. Um, and I think today she might be thinking a little bit about, the conversations that we had had earlier about Lathander and what his role in the problems in the 10 towns is. Um, so I think after, you know, um, doing morning prayers, she is going to open up her prayer book that she has on hand and see what the first thing that stands out is. And maybe it's important, maybe it's not.
As you're reading your prayer book, Laja, it's a ritual that you did before you came to the 10 towns, and that would be, to stay there, sit there, and watch the sunrise. And it's something you haven't experienced really at all since you've been here, because with the cloud cover and the days being so short, there's really been no sun at all. But you find yourself still facing east just to see what happens. And today starts just like every other day. It's dark to begin with. It gets just a little bit lighter. And as you're flipping through your book, you don't really catch anything that, illuminates any problem that you had. And you're getting ready to give up when you notice a small flash. It's like a glint in the sky. And it's a small break in the clouds. And just the tiniest sun ray just like peeks through and it shines on you. And it's at that moment you remember that it's actually Lath Day, which on the Faerun calendar, they have 10-day weeks and 30-day months. And Lath Day is the sixth day of the week, and it's named for Lathander. And that just kind of plays through your mind. But immediately your vision wipes away. And it's almost like in a dream, where in a dream, there's details that you have intense clarity of, and the background you have really no idea what it is, but you have a feeling of like where you're supposed to be, but only certain details come out in a dream. And that's kind of what you're pushed into at this point, Laja. And you're a dwarf. You still feel that you're a dwarf, but you're different. And you feel like you're underground, but instead of, like Laja, who would not like to be underground, being a hill dwarf, being underground feels fine for you. And you notice that you're actually in a large forge. And the reason you notice that is because you're working on something with a hammer. And you're hammering away at something, but just like details in a dream that are kind of fuzzy, you don't really know what you're working on. You just have this feeling of, you're building something. And you notice the hammer in your hand is unusual. It's a small, like, forging hammer, of course, so it's made for one hand, and it's very ornate. It's very silver and gold, and it's covered in ornamentations of an anvil and also other hammers, which are other hammers, which and Laja, you also know that these are the symbols of Moradin. So you're definitely doing the dwarf thing, forging or working away at something. And then all of a sudden, you feel a sense of dread, and you don't really know where this dread is coming from. But you drop the hammer, you very distinctly remember dropping it, and you turn and you start to run away. And as you run away, you look back and you see a tall figure with a very dark black crown that's very spiky and sinister looking. And then when that vision fades away and you notice you're back to Laja, and this only happened in just a second. And that second was, that little bit of sunlight coming through the clouds. And as that sunlight is completely erased by clouds moving over it, you feel a sense of dread, actually, for the 10 towns.
Okay. Well, I think what Laja will probably do is make a note of that, maybe in the back of the book because it seems important, and I don't think she'll want to forget about d- at least what details she was able to make out. And then pack everything up and see if everybody's awake. If not, just sort of wait around, make the most of the time. until everybody's ready.
And of course, Virian and Guardian, you guys didn't have to wait the whole night and rest. So, would you have done anything out in the morning that would have put you in out in the town?
Gary would have gone outside to grab a hold of that head he's been keeping on ice. He's just around the house, just out of view, just looking at it.
Would he have caught what was going on with Laja by chance?
I think he would have been too focused on the head.
Okay. And what about you, Virian?
I think Virian would probably, at this point, knowing that they're preparing to go on like a long, treacherous walk through the wilderness, probably taking all the time he can to just like meditate and prepare for the journey ahead.
So is he standing there with his hood up, looking off to Mordor, thinking about what they're gonna do?
That's right, yeah.
Got it. Well, I think you're all drawn back into Speaker Nimsy's house, because that's kind of where you've been residing. Because as before, there's nowhere else for you to stay except for the kind of the broke down inn. I don't think anybody ever tried to stay there with the Speaker's house, providing warmth and everything. But as I'd say, Rorgar, as you come down the stairs, you notice Furion standing there, meditating, and then we'll say Laja, you and Guardian arrive at the same time. But Nimsy is cooking. She's cooking breakfast for everyone.
Does anyone have any water?
There's plenty of snow outside you can gather and melt with the fire.
I believe I may have overdone it last night, and my head is throbbing.
I can't believe you did that to those people. How dare you? Have you no shame?
Roger will look up at everyone else and I do not know what you're talking about, Guardian, but I'm sure Bahamut and what's his name? Oh no, I'm even forgetting who I pray to.
That good of a night, huh?
Are you sure you're gonna be okay for this journey, Rorgar?
You see him take you see him take his hand and touch himself, and I'm actually going to spend 1 point of lay on hands just to do this. And yes, I'll make it through. And you see his eyes, the bags under his eyes get a little less pronounced. It is Torm has given me his blessing today, and I feel a little better.
You should feel terrible. Those poor women.
Oh my god.
Is this attempt at humor? Because I'm not good with humor. I don't understand.
I do not make jokes, I make statements.
Well, my friend, I did not get that carried away. I do remember that we now, as a group, own a beautiful inn named Suzanne's, and I cannot wait to stay there. And then there was something about the journey, and then I believe I came here and slept.
But Nimsy turns and she has plates in her hands and she says, "Okay, who's hungry?"
Rorgar doesn't even respond. He just eats and gives Nimsy a appreciative nod.
She's made plates for everyone, even you, Guardian.
I do not eat.
Oh, well, we can feed it to Suzanne.
And Nimsy says, "Oh, is Suzanne your owl?" And she points to Ollie, who is still in the corner, who stayed in her house pretty much since you guys left her last. But Ollie turns her head.
No, Suzanne is a friend we met in the woods. I'm not sure where she went, but she'll be around.
She says,
She
"Oh, you
is
mean
a
your?"
little white dragon.
Nimsy says, "A white dragon. Is that an expression for your friend with the one eye?"
No.
And she looks around and she says, I have to confess, I'm not really sure I'm following your humor here."
As I said before, I do not make humor. I state facts.
She says, the two dragon corpses you brought here, they were dead."
Mm-hmm. This is the third. Newborn. Just hatched.
And she kind of looks at each of you, unsure. She thinks that there's a punchline coming.
Hasn't shown itself to be dangerous yet. In fact, I'm not sure really where she went.
And her mouth kind of drops a bit, and she pushes her glasses back up her nose. "Are you serious? There's a white dragon around?"
There is a good chance it has pair bonded. It
I
should
mean,
be fine until
it's
adulthood.
also quite small. It's like yay big. I don't think it could really harm anything if it tried.
It is adorable.
It's basically like a little puppy.
And she
We're
says,
certainly not going to leave it in town, however. I know most people will be probably upset if they were to see it around.
"I hope you know what you're doing. White dragons are evil. They're not silver." And she points to you, Rogard. "They're not silver dragons. This thing, while it may seem cute and cuddly, is going to destroy. It's in its nature."
I can feel it is Bahamut's will that we care for this young one. So whether you like it or not, we are going to be keeping Suzanne with us for at least for now.
And she sighs and she says, "Lathander has certainly brought strange times to us." And she says, "Well,
Ollie?
I go ahead."
Will you be returned to your cave soon?
She says, "Return to my cave?"
Where the other ones were kept when we first met?
"Oh, the lair of those raiders. That's where the dragon, your dragon was."
No, when we first met. With all the other creatures?
Oh, are you speaking to Ollie?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Oh,
you were talking
okay.
to Nimsy.
Oh no, sorry, did me not saying Ollie come through?
I probably didn't hear it. No, sorry. Ollie, as you're saying that, Ollie just kind of looks up to you and she says, "Well, when the conditions are right, I'll head back to them."
By the way, have I showed you the head, Ollie?
And Ollie says, if you mean the druid, yeah, I saw it when you were dragging it around like a crazy person."
Any memories of her before the encounter with her?
And she says, "No, that's what I told that half-elf who was eviscerated. I don't have any memory of that place at all."
Very well. He's just gonna look at everyone.
And Nimsy says, "Well, I know you wanted to start early, so I have some things ready for you." And she has two scroll cases that I think she hands them to Laja, and then like a bundle up in a thing of cloth that she hands to you, Rorgar. And you can immediately smell what she hands you, Rorgar. She's handed you like a bundle of cookies that she's wrapped up.
Ah, thank you kindly. this will go well to make the journey less arduous.
She's, I hope so. And then she turns to Elijah. The two things I've given you first is a message to Speaker Whalen in Easthaven, just to let him know that you are very valuable citizens of Lonelywood and heroes of the highest caliber, and you are certainly worthy of his trust. And then the second is a map of Icewind Dale. If you're traveling across the plains, it might be useful.
Thank you so much. I don't know what I can say other than thank you for, uh, taking care of us while we've been in town. It's been lovely. And I hope we get to come back soon and perhaps fix up that inn.
And she says, that would be marvelous. You are always welcome here.
Sorry,
She said,
did you say the speaker of... Where was the letter for?
I believe you guys were headed to Easthaven, and she's saying the guy's name is Whalen. She's described him before as a friend of hers, but all of the speakers are part of a council in the 10 towns. You guys haven't really run into that much, but they all communicate fairly regularly.
Okay, perfect.
And she's the speaker, the head of Lonelywood, and he's the speaker, the head of Easthaven.
Rorgar will get up and look to the speaker and say, well, your delicious food has done much to cure my, as they say, hangover, and I believe our journey will be successful.
And Guardian, as you turn, you see Ollie has picked some of the food off of the plate that Nimsy made for you, and she's eating it.
He'll just watch her slowly, tilt his head side to side.
She just looks at you and eats it.
We will be back, Ollie. Stay safe. And if you are to leave, please let Nimsy know that you are leaving. I do not wish to worry for you.
And Ollie says, I'm gonna stick around with you guys. I'm not staying here. The last time I did that, something kidnapped me.
That is true. And he'll just reach up to his left shoulder pad there and just brush it off a bit. Then you have my shoulder.
And she says, well, and also it's been a while since I've been to Easthaven. I've been meaning to make my way back.
He'll just give a very slight nod. Speaker Nimsy, I have a request.
Of course. What can I do for you?
The man who passed away, the owner of the inn that we now possess, if you could find anything, no matter how small, please let me know.
I will try. De Groot's, remember all of his possessions were sold off to pay his debts. I'll send a message to Targos and see if there's anything that I could buy back from Speaker Maxildinar and Targos and see what I could do.
Very well. As I said, anything.
We could also quickly search the inn. It did used to belong to him. Maybe there's something there.
I fear that our time is short for execution.
Yes, I forgot. That was why we were going. To possibly save a man's life. Okay.
If you forgot that little fact, it is easy for you to forget what you did last night.
No, it's different. That's just detail, you know?
And I assume you guys are gonna head out of Lonelywood and head towards Easthaven?
Yep.
So I'm gonna show you guys the map first, just so you get a sense of where you're going. And the map that she gave you doesn't really give you any new information. It just allows your players or your characters to kind of know where they are if they're in another city. But you guys are going to travel from Lonelywood across the plains to Easthaven.
As we're leaving Nimsy's place, Guardians is gonna turn and look to Speaker, and as they're leaving, like again at the door, and he's just gonna bow his head and say, "Zelda saludosit del ma taludusasi, Zalui bawel unaf lov varidrod." And for anyone that speaks Elven, may you and your home be blessed with good fortune and long life.
And she kind of looks stunned, pushes her glasses up her nose again, and she says, "And ala bubla bala bubla to you also." And to those who speak Elvish, that's complete gibberish.
Virion looks over and nods approvingly and gives a thumbs up to Nimsy.
Guard will just look at her for a second with a tilted head and turn around and start walking.
I get the feeling she just doesn't know what to make of you, Guardian.
Everyone doesn't know what to make of Guardian. Like, oh, he's such a nice thing and he loves animals. Why is he splitting that person in half? Like, oh.
So as you guys make your way out of town, it's in the morning. I'm going to say it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. And we'd said before that it was going to take you guys 9 hours to get there. So if you wanted to make it in one day, it was going to be pretty much a hard day's walk across the snow.
Any signs of our little dragon friend?
It's funny because you don't see any signs. And then as you're moving away from the town, the forest is starting to grow behind you. There's a loud splash out of the lake. And flying out of the water is Suzanne. And she lands between you, Wargar, and you, Laja. And it's quite surprising because you haven't seen her in maybe like a good couple days, but she's actually grown significantly. Whereas before she was the size of a cat, she's about the size of a German Shepherd now.
Ah, little one, you've grown. Good for you.
And she shakes off the water that's stuck to her. And by the way, the water that's being sprayed on you guys is ice cold. Like it's mostly frost and water. And as as she splashes you with it, you all recoil because it's super cold. It doesn't really seem to bother her at all, though.
Well, are you ready to come with us and explore the wilds of Icewind Dale?
She kind of tilts her head to the side and looks at you.
I will take that as a yes.
As she turns, she's following you guys as you continue to walk through the snow. Laja, you notice that on her side, which was where she had an injury in the cave, that berserker guy who hit her with his axe, and she lost some scales there. They have apparently regrown back, but they look gray, so they look very different from the rest of her white scales, and it actually stands out very noticeably.
Vorgar, I know you are just a dragonborn. You wouldn't happen to know too much about, proper dragons and how they grow up?
This is the very first dragon I've ever encountered. Other than the two little baby friends of Suzanne here that we that had to die,
That you murdered.
She looks a little, I don't know, she's growing much faster than I expected, and on her side, they're a different color. I I don't know if that's something you'd be familiar with or if it's just a mystery to all of us.
Well, my parents said I had a very large growth spurt at 1 year old, and that I was a terror to take care of. But I grew out of that rowdy phase until I turned about 12.
And then you became rowdy again?
Yes,
Well, I'm glad to see that. I don't know what I'm glad to see, but um At least she seems to be happy, and at least I'm happy you're here with us.
I am glad that Suzanne is on our side. I believe we will need the extra firepower if we are to encounter a waterfall or some knucklehead trout.
Or another Yeti.
Or a yeti. If it's giant magical moose, though, we got this.
Guardian, as this exchange is happening, Ollie turns and she looks at Suzanne and she says, to really no one in particular, but you hear her clearly say it, does anyone else think that having the killer evil dragon following us around might be a bad idea? Just gonna ask.
She has not killed anyone, except those that deserved it.
And Ollie just turns her head and she says, okay, just thought I'd ask, if anyone else had thought of it.
A creature is a creature. That's all it is. You can help guide them and shape them, though, with a better environment.
And Rorgor and Laja, as you guys are continuing on, you hear Suzanne, and all of a sudden she makes the bleh, bleh, and she lowers her head and throws up this skeleton of a knucklehead trout, and then most of the head is still not digested, so you can see the head, but she just barfed up the skeleton of a knucklehead trout that apparently she'd eaten.
Look, Suzanne is already better fisherman than we are.
I wonder how many fish he's caught to grow that much in just a couple days.
Suzanne, we are very proud of you.
You can tell she doesn't appear to know what you're saying, but she's read your tone and she's kind of excitedly, looking back and forth at all of you.
But maybe next time chew your food more.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do this. Anyone who's noticed Guardian from when they first met him to now, all the spots he's been hit and suffered massive damage to, as I mentioned before, he had some old, worn out, rusted, fallen apart plate. A lot of it's now been slowly replaced with what looks like hardwood or bark that's growing in the same shape and design.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
And Guardian's going to walk up to you, Vivian. He's just going to look at you for a second. The sword. May I see it?
Sure. And Varian will pull out the moonblade and hand it over to Guardian.
He'll take it and hold it very gently, and then he'll flip it around so he's holding it by the handle, and then he'll just drag the blade across the back of his fingers. He'll reach into his kit and he'll pull out a couple of cloths, and he'll just start wiping it along the sword. And then he's just going to tap it ever so lightly against whatever metal he has left on his hand, just to hear it, make that ting sound. He'll start to hum ever so softly with it, and just clean it a few more times and hand it back.
Varian, you notice as he hands it back, so as Guardian was doing this and he was wiping away some of the vegetation that's grown on his hands and his arms, revealing the metal beneath, you notice the metal of the sword and the metal of Guardian, at least underneath all of the stuff, looks about the same color. It's like a light gray.
Okay. Guardian, what did you just do here?
I don't know. It just sounded muffled.
Okay. These colors are matching up to your hand and the sword almost perfectly. Is there something you know about this sword, or you just felt that you had to do that right now?
It was a sensation that I've done this 100 times before. But I don't know what. The same sensation I had when... It has been difficult to adjust. I have been alone most of my time. alive. But with all of you, I've experienced more emotions and sensations than I've been exposed to before.
I was going to mention you do seem very emotional lately.
It is frustrating. I remember touches, smells, the sensation of a heart, but I can't call any images. And he's gonna reach up and he's gonna grab his helmet. He's gonna start to pull it off. He's like, I remember my ear being caressed. And as he takes off his helmet, it's a skull underneath, weaved in with roots going through different spots of it. It is a fractured and cracked skull, and the parts that have been broken off have been filled in by bark and roots. There's moss and some fungus growing on the side of it there, but when he's talking, his mouth isn't moving. He still has the glowing eyes, but he just looks at his helmet for a second. I woke up to someone screaming. A small child. She was running from bandits. She ran into the forest where I was. The bandits chased, and they encountered me. And I was told how to describe it to others was I simply folded them like a pair of pants and clothing. She lived in the village nearby, and that's how my life started. So why do I remember sensations? Put his helmet back on. Like, it frustrates me to no end, and he's just gonna start walking forward.
And Virian's just gonna look back at Laja and Rorgar and kind of mouth, "What the hell?"
I'd like to think that Rorgar did not see that at all, because he's probably a little too busy, like playing with Suzanne to have paid attention.
Yeah, I was just about to say, wouldn't this happen while we were talking about Suzanne?
If it did happen, there's some stuff if he did notice, there's some stuff that I would probably do.
That's ominous.
No, not like instantly murder a teammate, but he would feel very strange and probably try to use some of his powers to ascertain what the hell's going on.
To be fair,
And
you've used your divinity around him all the time.
That's true, yeah. And as a person, like as me, like I think that's awesome and cool. I don't think Rorgar. I don't think he would have paid attention to any of that.
I mean, to be fair, Suzanne did just throw up a fish at his feet.
Yeah.
So
That is Suzanne. The head of this trout is a definite choking hazard.
and she looks at you as you're talking again. Her head tilts to the side like she doesn't understand you, but she looks up and she sees Guardian walking away, and she just starts gingerly following him. You know, that's just what you guys do. She's following along.
Oh, it is time to go. And then I probably see Rogar probably sees the look on Virian's face and says, oh yes, I understand. It was difficult for us to find these knucklehead trout.
Virian will just follow Guardian.
Yeah, Guardian is keeping ahead.
You must wait for what's the term? What does it say on Icewind Dale or Baldur's Gate? You must wait for your entire party before you can continue.
we appear to be chunk loaded.
There you go. As you guys are walking, Virian, you're trying to track and figure out which direction to go. And while you're doing that, the entire time, Suzanne's trying to climb up onto your shoulder like she's done others in the past. But at this point, she's just entirely too large. She's huge, but she's still trying.
Suzanne, maybe try and hang out on top of Guardian. You're getting to be a big girl. Still proud of you though.
And at this point, I'm assuming you guys are just going to make a straight shot, right? You didn't want to take any other paths.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty important that we got there as soon as possible.
Okay. A very simple check, because the weather is pretty calm at this point, Virion. If you can give me a survival check of, I think it's the wisdom survival.
Ooh, could I make a check too?
Sure, if you want.
Ooh, please do.
Apparently, Virion's trying to go the other way, back to Lonelywood. It's a good thing you know where to go, Guardian.
I mean, I think we're going the wrong way, Guardian, but if this is the way you want to go and get us lost, then by all means.
He doesn't even stop. He just keeps marching.
But the day is pretty much just white snow on all sides. After a few hours, the shapes of Lonelywood fall into the distance, and you can tell you're getting close to the town of Tourmaline off to the distance. I guess it would be to the south as you guys are headed east, but you don't get any closer, so you don't really see much shapes. And then after a while, you've crossed into the plains, which is just snow in all directions, just white as far as you can see. And after a few hours, that little bit of sunlight that you get during the day fades, and you're just walking in total darkness. And just as before, you all know, you're all keenly aware that it's very easy to get lost at this point of the day. Luckily, if you get lost, you're probably going to end up in a town because you're at that point where you're between towns. But also to the north is the Dwarven Valley. So you could go off course very easily. You all have also noticed that it is getting colder. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, it's normally about 5 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 15 Celsius in Icewind Dale pretty much all the time, so very cold. It's getting below that, so it's getting colder and colder as the day goes by, and you're all acutely aware that it's getting much cooler, and much more than a normal day. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
How many hours have you been traveling?
Let's say you've been traveling about 4 hours, so it's about 12 o'clock.
And the sun's already going down.
Yep, it's already going down. A little early, in fact. It's usually by 2, but now it's going down.
Well, question for the GM. Is Ollie a beast?
No. Ollie's not a beast.
What? Damn it, I got 2 abilities I can't use. Yeah, fine, I'll pull up my torch and I'm just going to keep marching.
And as you're walking, Suzanne has been kind of eyeing Ollie, and Ollie turns back to her and she says, "If you eat me, you're going to choke, I promise."
Little one, you must trust this owl. It is wise, because it is an owl.
And Suzanne just looks at you and then looks back.
If you're hungry, I'll pull a ration out of my pack, and I'll open it and say, I know this is no knucklehead trout or fresh owl meat, but this will sate your hunger, at least for now.
She takes it from your hand, chews it a little, and then spits it out.
Well, if you're not going to have it, I guess I'll eat it. And Rorgar will eat the half-chewed ration.
That's how diseases are spread, right there.
There we go. Am I the only one that thinks those ration tokens look like catapults?
They kind of do, yeah.
Oh, okay, I kind of see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Suzanne, if you are hungry and you don't want ration, why don't you try catching another trout?
and she kind of looks around. Like, she might actually understand what you're saying, but at this point, you're very far away from a body of water, and she kind of looks and she thinks for a moment, but then she stays by you.
Ah, we will find you something to eat when we encounter a town. I promise.
But Virion, I'll say with your experience in the Arctic, you kind of know what's happening here. This is the calm before an extreme temperature drop. You can feel the slight wind coming in. This is you can tell, like, with the sun going down quicker, that means there's probably a pretty heavy storm front moving in.
We're gonna need to find some cover pretty fast before a storm completely overtakes us here, folks.
Ollie, do you see anything that we can use?
Ollie says, "Yeah, I'm thinking if we fly, we'll be there faster."
All right, good suggestion. Good suggestion.
I can
I think
throw one
only
of you at a
2 of
time.
us can fly, but I don't know.
How no, I'm not saying it. Rogar's saying it. Friends, how far away is this town of Tremolane? Tremalan? Tremolane? I do not understand pronunciation of this name, but you understand, right?
I think if we
Tremolane.
wanna go that way, we might have to backtrack. We're heading towards Easthaven. I don't know if there's much in between here and there.
I should say the terrain has gotten a little rockier, which is kind of reflected on the map here that I have you guys on. It's not the flat snow anymore, but that does track, and you can see on the map that you have, Laja, of Icewind Dale. You're closer to the Dwarven Valley, which is very rocky, that leads up to Kelvin's Cairn, which is just a cliff or like a mountain. So you're getting into rockier terrain, which if there were no snow, this would probably be, rocks or, some broken grass and stuff that you should be on. And that's why it's not quite as flat.
And
Fine.
according to the map, how much further do we think we have to go?
If you're on course, you should make it in about 5 hours. And to answer Wargar's question, and you guys could respond how you'd like back to Wargar, to get to Tourmaline, you'd have to basically turn around and go back the way you came, probably about 3.5 hours. But that would be the opposite
Okay.
direction.
I misheard when you were explaining it earlier. Okay, perfect.
Just so you guys can see. Let's see, Tourmaline is right there. Lonelywood is right there, and you're trying to go all the way there. So you guys are actually probably somewhere like right here.
I'm not sure what you're complaining about, everyone. This doesn't feel that cold.
It's what's approaching. When you feel that barometric pressure drop, you know the storm's coming in. I'm very finely tuned to the changes in the air.
Do we want to try to speed up to get there faster, or would you rather turn around and try another day? And as this is all going on, the Guardian is just
Would Virion be able to tell, give a rough estimate of time to figure out how long they have before the storm fully engulfs them?
It may not even be a snowstorm, it may be a windstorm, which tracks with what you're seeing here, which would mean that it won't make visibility worse, which is not saying much really, because it's night already and you can't see very well. What it means is it'll get extremely cold. And you guys have cold weather gear, which is how you can make it out here, but that'll only help you so much. And the wind will make it probably deadly to be out in the open here.
All right. If we do get caught out in the open, there's a good chance that some of us will not make it through. So if we can, it might be wise to go back, or we need to speed things up quite a bit at this point, or find some sort of cave to take some shelter in.
Well, friends, I will follow your lead. I am not quite the explorer that you are, Virian. Also, if I get caught out in snowstorm, Bahamut will protect me, so I'll be fine.
That's good enough for me. I'm good to go if everyone else is okay.
Yeah, let's just speed up and hopefully we can get there before it gets too bad.
And Guardian, what do you think? Oh, I believe he is already continued forward.
He has also decided to speed up, apparently.
Well, I guess we should try to catch up.
So as you guys continue on in the tracks of Guardian, his ginormous snowshoes, as you begin to catch up, the wind starts to pick up and the temperature does start to drop very quickly. It's at this point, if I could get everybody to make a constitution check for me, please. Let's see, Rorgar and Laja, you two have advantage. You can do a check for me, please.
Is it a save or a check or a skill check?
It's a saving throw.
Okay.
It's the same for me, so it's fine.
I think we just need one from Virian.
Sorry.
So Virian and Guardian, let me describe what's happening. As you guys are continuing to move from the cold, you feel the wind start to blow through your cold weather gear, actually, and you start to feel a chill. It starts off in your extremities, and both of you are going to take 1 level of exhaustion.
Ooh.
Level 1's not that bad.
Slippery slope, though.
And I'm saying it as a guy who doesn't have any levels of exhaustion.
Yep.
And Guardian, in fact, as you're moving, it's sort of like when you fell in the lake before, like icicles and ice are starting to form across your armor. It's making like a layer of frost across you. And Ollie keeps like moving and repositioning herself to try to get around it.
Well, I did say I have a torch out, so what I'm going to do is to help Ollie is I'm going to put the torch closer to my chest, like left shoulder there, so it kind of just gives her that heat. Whatever little heat there is.
And she's doing the thing she did before where she's burying her head underneath her wing.
Okay, before our travel pace was normal, but since we're pushing through, I'm assuming we're moving at fast pace.
You are moving at a faster pace. You should get there sooner than you would, so less than 9 hours, yeah.
Okay. 400 feet a minute, guys. We can do it.
So do you want to continue on? Just keep heading towards Easthaven?
Rogar's feeling great.
Virian will look around and see everyone else doing okay, and he'll be like, yeah, I think I can make it through.
Good to see you are in good spirits, friend.
And he'll give Rorgar a very shaky thumbs up.
As you guys are walking, Rorgar, you look behind you, and it looks like a blue light is moving across. It's hard to tell because the conditions are dim and almost dark, but it looks like a blue light is floating in the air, coming behind you, probably some 30 feet.
And does it look like it's staying 30 feet behind us? Or does it look like it's getting closer and closer?
It looks like it's coming towards you.
Uh, uh friends, there appears to be something behind us. It is something I cannot identify.
Guardian will stop and turn around.
Guardian, there is something behind us.
Make his way back.
Just at that point,
What?
visibly, you can tell as it's gotten closer, you see something moving through the shadows, and might have a good visual for you guys to see. So what it looks like is basically the clothes of a person, and you don't see any skeleton, you don't see any other remains. The inside of, where a person should be is a glowing blue light, but it's still walking like a person would through the snow, and it's doing like a low moan as it's heading towards you guys.
When I see that it's not just a light, but it's actually some sort of form, I'd like to use divine sense.
And before we roll initiative, what Divine Sense is going to tell you is yes, that is an undead creature that is coming at you.
Hey, Rogar. You detect one behind you, too? No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's laser focused this way.
It's Guardian. He's a lich.
I guess Rogar will before we get to combat, we'll say it is a foul undead beast that approaches. I know because Torm told me.
Virian, if you can roll a survival check for me, please.
Oh, good. Oh my god.
The joys of low level. So good.
I have a +3 too.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I'm great at this. Nope.
That's a scary thing coming towards you. That's all you can recall. But yeah, I'll need everybody to roll initiative, and someone could roll Suzanne too if they'd like. We have full powered Suzanne with us tonight.
Yeah, speaking of characters, where is Elit's character? Are they just like around or ahead, or they're catching up to us?
I'm just gonna have Issa just show up sometimes when ELH is playing with us, and then just have her gone. It's kind of a running joke, at least in my head.
By the way, do I have disadvantage on initiative? It's an ability check, right?
I think you do. Yep.
Oh,
Virian and
I'll roll another one.
Oh, why didn't that?
This is so rough for Virian today.
Woo, 9.
7 and 9. Okay. All right. Well,
No, wait, it's a 5.
Yeah, that's a 5 for me.
Oh boy. Okay. It always seems like when something's about to kill Rorgar, he gets to go first.
He's good like that.
Just seems to work out.
Well, Rorgar will grip his battle axe and shield tightly and charge. I'll stand over here though. He serpentines a bit as he approaches, and I will just attack with my battle axe.
As you get closer to it, you feel the air around it is even colder as you swing and miss wildly from it.
Ugh. That is why I missed. It's not skill. It is because the unexpected change in temperature. He says that in Draconic, so no one understands.
But maybe Suzanne does because it's her turn. And again, don't forget to use full powered Suzanne.
Yep, I have that one up. I'm gonna move Suzanne up. And then I think I'm just gonna have her bite. See
Did
how
she
that goes.
run? Did she run or did she fly for no reason then? I just think it's cool.
Let's say she flies, because that's cool. Oh, that's less cool.
Yeah, unfortunately that's not gonna do anything for her.
Wow, we are we're really good today.
She got kind of knocked off, by the wind as she's trying to swoop over
Ah, little
and
one,
take a bite out.
I see you had the same difficulty as me.
But I think that takes us to Laja.
Well, that's okay. I'm going to cast Scorching Ray on it.
Oh,
So,
yes.
yeah, that'll be what, 3 rays? So I'll do that 3 times.
That's one hit.
That's okay. 1 is better than none.
Maybe you've broken the streak.
That's a fair damage roll. Yeah.
And I'm going to stay where I am over here because I don't want to get near that thing. That seems like a bad idea for me.
A part of its clothing catches on fire from your shot, Laja, but it still seems to be fine. Whatever's underneath there doesn't seem to be too affected by it. And in fact, it turns towards you, Rorgar, and swings wildly at whatever, it's made out of, that these pieces of blue light coming out of the clothes, they swipe at you. 9 and a 12.
No, and no.
And he apparently misses you. That's what this fight's going to be. A lot of everybody missing.
Rogar bravely hides behind his shield.
Which takes us to Guardian.
Oh, give me a second. Do that too. One. My move is not affected, right?
Not at level 1, no. There is a exhaustion counter in if you go into the core and click that off.
Yeah, no, I have it there too. It's just I wanted to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
The terrain isn't anything special, apart from being snow.
Rage and Reckless.
Okay.
Where my character sheet went, there you go. Maul. Okay, well, I don't need to roll again.
Wow, okay, a crit.
Wow.
20 damage.
20 damage, all right. So as you swipe away at it, Guardian, with your hammer, maybe you hit its arm, and your hammer continues to pass through its sleeve, and you do hit it very solidly, but it still appears to be very capable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has resistance.
Possibly. But I think that takes us to you, Varian.
So Virion is going to very lazily walk over as best as he can, being exhausted, shivering cold, and take out his moonblade and try and just stab this walker in the side.
A 12 is a miss.
Of course.
Blame the sword.
What did you do to this sword, Guardian?
Okay, I gotta ask. If he hits him with the moonblade, does it become a moon walker? It's not a moonblade.
Instead of him going, oh,
cold light walker,
cold,
moonwalker.
he
All right.
just goes,
It's a rough night. Takes us to Rorgar.
Rorgar will move to here. To here. So I'm flanking with Suzanne.
It's cute.
And
Okay.
I'll take a. Do I have advantage on this attack?
Yes, you do.
Let's see if that helps.
That
Haha!
does. 20 will hit.
Kapla. And seeing that I've scored a hit, I will definitely use a Divine Smite. So let me just mark off a spell slot. So I'll just roll my normal damage. And then I add, is it 2d10? 2d8 radiant.
I believe that's a 21 total.
Yeah, 12 slashing, 9 radiant.
So as you hit this not Moonwalker with your axe Rorgar and you use the power of Biomet behind it, you strike off the arm of its one, like maybe its left arm, and as you do that, you notice it's just the clothing that falls off, like there's no piece of the creature, and the light still continues to shine through the socket for where the arm was attached. It appears as like there's no creature that's coming off when you're cutting into it.
Wait, friends, I believe it. I believe there's nothing in there. And that's it for Rorgar's turn.
All right, takes us to Suzanne.
Well, Susanna's going to try to bite it, and Rorgar is flanking, so I'll roll that twice.
With it
17?
with advantage, yep, that will hit. Okay.
And I think Suzanne will stay there.
Takes us to Laja.
Which means it's my turn. I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame on it and see if that might do better than the fire damage. So that'll be a dex save from it. Hopefully it's not too dexterous, but I don't know how dexterous light is.
It is not dexterous enough at this point, so it takes 7 damage from your radiant attack.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and more parts of the clothing catches on fire, but the blue light that's underneath this continues. It turns towards you, Guardian, or to you, Rorgar, and it looks at you from through this hood that's got over what should be a head, and then the light from where the face would be glows very, very, very bright in your face. If you can give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I will do that. Haha! Look at that roll.
You are blinded.
No.
Friends, I cannot see at the moment. Just letting you know, in case I hit you with my blade.
What blinded will do is give you disadvantage on any attack and gives it advantage attacking you. And then it turns, and with its one remaining arm, it swipes at you twice. How's it 22, and how's a 7?
22 hits.
So you take 11 bludgeoning damage and 14 cold damage.
11 damage.
It's 11 bludgeoning and 14 cold, which I think with your resistance takes it to 7, so I believe you'd have 18 total.
There we go.
Takes us to Guardian. Guardian, you've just seen Rorgar recoil as this thing shrieks at it, and Rorgar's covering his eyes as it's blinded him.
Reckless maul attack.
A 19 will work.
13.
And with this attack, you swipe it across the chest and tear off a good portion of, like, the trousers. However, it is still, the blue light underneath it is still very visible. I think that takes us to you, Virion.
So Virion, very visibly annoyed from missing his last attack, is gonna take another big, drawn-out, lazy swipe with his Moonblade.
That'll hit.
Perfect.
Roll me an extra d6, please.
All right.
So as the Moonblade strikes this creature, it looks like you're just hitting a part of the clothing. But as you do that, there's a loud pop, and you notice the Moonblade again is like burning this blue flame that sort of looks like the flame or the light that this creature is shedding. But as soon as it strikes it, there is a pop, and the light inside of this creature goes out, and the clothing that was being suspended just falls to the ground.
I did forget also, as the clothing falls out, my penguins jump up.
Yes.
And they are devastated that there was nothing for them to nibble on. There's just the rags that are left over.
Maybe they'll like eating some clothes. I don't know. Maybe they're like goats.
I do think that they're pretty easy to please.
Friends, is it still there? I would like to take another swing.
Virion is going to back up 35 feet and shout to Rorgar, "You go ahead, buddy."
Oh, good to know. And I guess he'll swing at air, but his reach is only 5 feet, so.
Elijah, if you can give me a history check, please. You recall hearing about creatures that die in the frozen wastes, like basically people that starve to death or freeze to death, coming back as some kind of undead. That might be what you just encountered. Would be the fate of some adventurers traveling across the plains if they were to die, perhaps.
I think we should head on our way. I think I remember reading something about things that die out here come back as undead, and that might be what that is. I certainly don't want to meet any of them or become any of them.
Yeah, let's get moving.
Can someone please like rub my eye or something? I still cannot see. I think maybe there's ice in there.
I'm gonna grab him by the head with both hands and then place my thumbs on his eyes and slowly and gently just rub his eyes.
Ah, that is
Aw.
oddly satisfying. Does it have an effect after 54 seconds?
It has some kind of effect. Sure. The blindness goes away.
Okay. Ah! Thank you, friend. You have cured me of my affliction. You truly are a servant of Torm and Bahamut.
Guardian just stops and turns around and walks away like you insulted him.
But Guardian, as you walk past Suzanne, you notice her head turns and raises up into the air, and she starts sniffing the air.
I'm gonna stop and look at her.
And she starts to head off to the east, the northeast, kind of away from you guys a bit. And then she stops, looks back, and then walks back towards you, and then turns and you can tell she's trying to make up her mind. Should she go this way or should she like remain with you guys? But she keeps looking back and then going in a direction and turning around.
Will you walk over?
And she continues to sniff, I'd say towards the northeast.
Ollie, do you see anything over there? And I'll
Yeah, I
point
see a
towards-
dragon. Go, crush it.
Past the dragon.
He looks up. Yeah, there's some caves.
Hmm.
With probably more dragons.
Hmm. Rogar, Laja, Virion.
Might be a good idea to find a cave.
Found a cave.
Let's head on over there then.
Good job, Suzanne. And I'll just pat her head. If she'll let me. I know she wasn't too trusting of me after I got mind controlled and took a swig at her.
As you go to pet her, she lowers her head down like she's expecting you're gonna pop her on the head. But then as you pet her, she like leans into it. She's cautious at first.
Yeah, I'll just gently pat her. And then start heading towards the caves. With Ollie as my dark vision eyes.
So as you guys are just following Suzanne, who's leading you, she is actually leading you towards those caves that Olive's described. And what it looks like the situation is, it's a cliffside that goes up pretty far, and you see 3 caves. They're not together. Like one of them is like 10 feet off of the ground, one's maybe 20, and one's maybe 30 feet. But it looks like this area was probably water at some point, and it appears to have frozen over. Like this might have been a small like stream or something like that, and water was probably coming out of those caves, but you can't really tell anymore. But there's certainly no water now. It's frozen pretty solid. But as you approach, you can kind of understand what Suzanne was picking up on. She was picking up a smell, and it smells like some food being cooked from probably out of one of the caves, and she keeps heading back in that direction.
Hmm.
And it will take us to the next map here.
Give me 1 second. My cat just filled his water bowl, and now he's begging me for water.
So I'm going to move you guys over. Apologies, this is one of those maps, again, that was made super, super high scale, so you guys are very tiny. To describe it, the opening of one of the caves, let's say this cave here, is about 20 feet off the ground. The next cave up is about 30 feet off the ground. And there's another one further north, which is also 30 feet off the ground. But where you're standing on now is the frozen stream that probably leads into this cave system. You don't have to worry anything about this ice. This is very, very thick ice. And in fact, you can tell you can't even like see any water beneath it. It's just solid and mostly covered with snow.
Just gonna move on in. Boop, boop. No one's stopping him, so he's just gonna keep moving in.
Virion is following anyone who's going inside of a cave.
So Guardian, since you're in the front, can you give me a dexterity check, please?
Sure.
No.
Just a normal dex check.
Yeah, it's at disadvantage because you have exhaustion. Sorry.
Actually, give me a second. I wonder how that works. I think I might. It's not danger sense, right? Like it's not a save.
It's a save, yeah.
Oh, then it's normal because I have advantage on dex
Wait.
saves.
No, sorry, it's not a save. It's a check. You're not you're not being attacked by anything. This is to see if you fall on the ice, basically.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You did fall on the ice. Sorry.
Um,
You take a point of damage.
as we were traveling, is it okay if I say Rogar used lay on hands to heal himself for 10 points?
Sure, you'd have time for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Poor Ollie.
Yeah, as you fall, Ollie flies up and she lands, off of, maybe up and to the left here. And she looks at you and she says, did you forget how to walk?
Yes. Get up and start the game.
But at this point, you guys can smell, it smells like someone's cooking something, like there's some meat and everything, and it actually smells pretty good, but it is actually getting warmer the further you move into this cave system. Like the wind is still present, you can tell it from the cave entrance, but it is definitely warmer the further you move in.
Seeing Guardian take a spill, I think, and thinking back to the waterfall, Rogar's gonna start moving a little slower, and he's gonna start using his battle axe like a cane to try to steady himself.
Yeah, this has never gone badly for you guys before.
Dip.
And Guardian, I think I gave everyone Varian vision, so I think you can see further than you normally would.
Okay.
Do we
Along the
hear anything
walls.
while we're walking into the cave?
You hear faint, it sounds like water dropping, off of stalactites. That's the one in the air, right? Not the one on the ground. It sounds like there's water dripping. You hear what might be the sound of like stone grinding, and that's about it.
Just let me know when I need to roll again for another deck save.
It's a little slippery. I think at this point, Guardian, you could move forward a little bit more. But what you see ahead of you it looks like a frozen waterfall. And this all is just leaning into the fact that this was probably a stream and it's just frozen. It was never very deep anyway. It's now about a 10-foot tall sheet of ice.
Did you cut off there?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what I was
Elijah.
saying is that
It's another waterfall.
yeah, it's a frozen waterfall. It's only about 10 feet tall though.
Okay, I thought I can hear you.
I'd prefer if we didn't throw me up this time. Maybe we can just boost each other up.
I want to try. Oh, that's an ability check. I want to try and jump up. I want to do a high jump.
I believe that's a jump, a dexterity check.
No, it's strength. Actually.
Probably athletics.
Okay, athletics. Hey, that's good enough.
Ooh.
Let's see here. So there's actually some rules about a high jump. So I leap 3+ my strength modifier. So yeah, I leap up 6.
6 feet would not be enough. This is 10 feet.
Well, so like I'm already 7 feet. I'm jumping up 6 more, so I'm trying to get my hands on top of the ledge to pull myself up.
I won't make you roll twice since you did a 17 here. That's enough to get you on top, either jumping and pulling or just jumping up. That's fine.
And then yeah, I'll just throw down a rope for everyone if they need to use it.
To get up this, I mean, apart from Suzanne, who can just very easily fly over it, everyone just give me a strength check as you're pulling, a strength athletics check as you're pulling yourself up the rope. Varian, that is a disadvantage from your exhaustion. Sorry.
I was just going to say, since I'm helping them, would they get advantage for it?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it doesn't actually do the disadvantage. I see. So an 8.
I'd say I'm going to put all of you up here and have Varian going last. Suzanne right there. Varian, so as you're working your way up, everyone else is with Guardian's assistance, he's holding the rope. They pull themselves up with the rope and get to the top of the waterfall. But for you, when you're the last one going, you take a step, and your step actually goes right through some of the ice. And as you pull your foot back out, you're like, oh man, this just sucks. And it's really cold. But then something reaches it feels like something has coiled around your ankle and is trying to pull you in. And at that moment, busting through the ice is a creature made entirely of frozen water. If everyone can do me a favor and roll some initiative, please.
Oh my god.
Don't have to roll again for that. That's a.
Oh, rats, I didn't clear it. Oh well. I'll work on that. Virion has an 8, Nick a 19, Rogar an 11, and Suzanne has a 10. Guardian, I think you have a 2? Did you roll twice?
I rolled a 1. I can't get any lower than that.
Well, yeah. That's true. Forgot to clear it, so I had to clean it up. Oh dear. I'm rolling very well tonight. Apologies.
He just wants to kill us.
You're
It's
stealing
not-
all of our good luck.
It's not me. It's this campaign. It's written to kill the players. It's pretty rough. But this creature, as it arises from the water, it looks like almost like an octopus, so like many different tentacles reaching out towards all of you guys, and it appears to be made of just like a single piece of water with also ice coming off of it. It looks like that.
Oh, fantastic.
It's called a water weird.
It does look quite weird.
But it immediately makes an attack right at you, Virion, I think, because you're the one that set it free.
Fair enough.
Oh dear, how's a 23?
Oh yeah, that'll just hit.
That is 13 bludgeoning first.
Good.
And you are grappled, which means at this point you are restrained until you can break the grapple.
Perfect.
That takes us to Laja.
I'm going to cast Bless on the 3 who are closer. So that'll be Virion, Guardian, and Rorgar. We'll get an extra D4, and then I'm going to move a little bit closer just to see if I can't help out Virion once he manages to break free.
Okay. Takes
And I
us to
think that'll be the
Rorgar.
extent of everything.
How tall is this water weird?
It's a large creature. It's large, so it's probably, when it's standing up, it's over the waterfall, so you could still attack it. It's
Okay.
probably like 15 feet.
Yeah, I will just move straight forward, and I will take a swing with my battle axe.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one will miss.
Can I
That
use
hurt.
my point of inspiration
You may,
for the day? I'll just throw that out there and try again.
but
Whoa,
that's
way
much
better.
better than a 26.
And I will burn another spell slot to use another divine smite because I don't like that it's grabbed Virion. So 7 points of slash damage plus 2d8 radiant. I rolled pretty well for that.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yep.
That'll be it for Rorgar's turn.
It's a heavy strike on this water weird. Still, like one of its tendrils is still grappled around Virion, but it turns to you, Rogar, as you've hit it. But that takes us to Suzanne.
Suzanne is just gonna glide on over down to the water weird and make one attack.
14 will hit.
So that'll be 5 plus 4.
So it's probably very comical. Suzanne takes a bite out of this water creature, but that will work. That will still do damage to it.
It's like when a dog is in front of a hose and the hose is on. That's exactly what's happening here.
I love it. Takes us to Virion. So restrained is basically your speed becomes 0. You can't benefit from any bonus to speed. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and your attack rolls have disadvantage. And creature, you have disadvantage on dex saves. Now you can break out of this if you want, but that would be your action.
Oh, I guess. Jeez. I guess Furion's going to try and break out of it. What kind of roll do you need for that? Is that a strength?
Unless you can sell some other way that you would try it, I think that is going to be a strength check, yeah.
Okay.
Which will be a disadvantage, unfortunately, because of your exhaustion.
Right.
But you get 1d4.
Hopefully that makes all the difference. A strength save, I guess?
It's a strength check.
Just
Oh,
check.
never mind.
Yeah, strength check to escape.
Okay. Probably not going to work there.
No, that is not enough, unfortunately.
All right.
But that takes us to Guardian.
I'm on rage. One left for the day, guys.
There's one slot there. Yeah, you can get in next to it.
And reckless, small, rage, bless attack. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that 24 will certainly hit. The 28, that'll work.
Oh, and where is it? Here. Yep. Roll. Okay, at 12. It's not added to the 2 for some reason.
All right. I think that takes us back to the weird. The weird looks at you, Rorgar, and it actually makes another little tendril of water split off from itself, and it swings it at you. That was an 8.
No. AC of 18.
Oh, that is a miss then. But that takes us to Elijah.
Okay, I am going to. I think I'm just going to take out my Warhammer and try to attack it. Why not? I'm right here.
A 13 will hit. Its AC is 13.
Beautiful. That is a lovely 4 damage. But every bit counts.
What I'll say to everyone except for Rorgar, when you used your smite, you notice that as you're attacking it, your attacks, because this is mostly a water creature also, so it's not entirely too surprising, but your attacks are mostly going through it. And Laja, as you swing with your hammer, you hit it, and it's sort of like you're splashing in a pool of water. You know, you're hitting it, you're probably hurting it, but it doesn't really seem to have too much of an effect.
That's okay. I probably could have guessed that, but I'm not going to be mad about it. I think that'll be what I do for this turn.
And that takes us to Rorgar. Brad, if you're telling us a master plan, we can't hear you.
No, I'm just looking at what's available. I think what I will do, I don't want to jump down. So I will use my okay, I will use my channel divinity as a bonus action. So I utter a vow of enmity against the water weird. I now get advantage on every attack against it for the next minute.
Okay.
Really hoping for a maybe a 20. Well, I meant 20 as a dice roll, not 20 total. Come on, man.
I mean, the 23 will work, yeah.
I will still use my last spell slot to do another divine smite. So there's the battle axe. And there is the radiant damage.
And that's a pretty vicious strike on this thing. As you hit it, a good piece of the water, as you hit, breaks off from this thing. And it's much smaller in mass because it kind of swirls back up to fill up the shape, though.
And that's my bonus action, and that's it. I don't think I'm going to move.
Well, that takes us to Suzanne.
Suzanne will follow that nice attack up with one of her own.
Unfortunately, that one is not going to hit anything, Suzanne.
Maybe it was just rearing back from all that radiant light, and then Suzanne just missed in the air.
She might be a little confused because this is a confusing creature.
It is confusing.
It takes us to Virion.
I guess. I feel like Virion's gonna try and attack with his Moonblade here.
Okay.
He's tired and he just needs to try something.
Is Virion flanking? Oh, you rolled the same thing twice, so it doesn't matter.
That is kind of amazing. That does hit, by the way. Yeah, even disadvantage, the same thing.
Fantastic. So he takes a strike with his Moonblade, and his penguins are gonna pop out of the ice, also equally exhausted, and do 6 more damage.
I promise I am not making this up. This is another penguin kill.
Yes.
We
They
need
deserve
one
it.
kill each session.
It had 13 hit points left. I mean, the 10 magic damage and the 6 penguins kill it. So why don't you describe to us how the penguins take out this water creature?
So the penguins are very clearly exhausted and also suffering whatever secondhand exhaustion from me. And they just chip away at the ice. And I feel like they turn him into an ice sculpture of a bed to signify how exhausted Virion actually is.
Love it. Yeah, that takes us out of combat as this water creature, as it dies, just kind of collapses into water and falls back into really on the ice and covers it. Like there's no other structure for this creature. It's just water.
I'm gonna wiggle the rope at Varian again.
Varian's just gonna tie the rope around his waist and ask Guardian to hoist him up.
I'll hoist him up.
I'll help. I'll help Guardian.
Rage hoist.
I won't make you do another check after all that. I think Varian, with the help of everyone, you can easily get yourself up this frozen waterfall. And I think the only other person was Suzanne down there who can very easily fly up.
I just imagine Varian is just dead weight, just slowly slumping up on them.
This is like a substitute teacher who had to take a group on a field trip to like a theme park. She's tired. She just wants to go home.
Varian, how are you feeling? I saw that it managed to grab hold of you. Are you doing okay?
I've been better, Lasha.
Okay, then I will pat him on the shoulder and cast Cure Wounds. Hopefully this will help a little bit.
Oh my god. Thank you so much.
But Suzanne turns her head and sniffs in this direction, which is the cave, as the cave continues on. Well, I guess I should describe it better. The waterfall that you guys have climbed up continues in a direction that goes to the north, and there's a small cave entrance to the east that's opened up, and that seems to be where the smells that Suzanne is very excited about are coming from.
Well, I'll start heading down that way.
Point of order also, this is just the dragon finding something that she likes. This is not necessarily the best direction to go in. This is not a hint or anything. It's just, this is what she likes. But she is a dragon.
We trust her.
Rogar staying at the cave entrance there, the waterfall.
No, I'm following you guys. I'm in the just at a character thing. I'm in the very early stages of one of my migraines. I don't have a headache or anything right now, but it affects my vision, so I can't.
Oh, no.
I'm having a hard time looking at the screen. So I want to keep playing. I won't be in like the middle of the migraine for another hour or two. But if you guys can drag my corpse.
I'll keep you with us. That way,
Thank you.
if you look up, you can see where we are.
I'm moving you,
thank
Guardian,
you.
so that you stop moving, because I want to describe where you are before you continue.
Okay.
So this cave that you've entered here is much higher. So you were in kind of a small opening, and it's continued to go up. You've climbed a little bit of, an incline, and you're into this large chamber. So there are some holes in the ceiling, so you can tell that you're actually kind of close to the surface here, and you see a little bits of moonlight shining through, which kind of gives you an idea of the time of day too. But none of that is really what your characters would focus on immediately. What you focused on here is a pile of bones in the corner here. And some of them are immediately, noticeable as humanoid bones. You see like skulls and, leg bones and all of that. And sitting among the bones in the middle, it looks like a giant skeleton is also sitting there. But what's also very noticeable is there's a thick layer of ice covering it. But it's not like moving or anything. It's just kind of collapsed there.
I poke it.
You poke it. Okay.
When you say giant skeleton, do you mean a giant's skeleton, or do you mean like a normal skeleton blown up?
I think they would probably be the same thing, but this would probably be the skeleton of a giant creature, a giant humanoid, is from what all you could gather from it.
Thank you.
Does it have a skull?
It does have a skull. When you poke
Humanoid
it,
in appearance? Well, no, humanoid in appearance, or is it like a dragon head?
it's not a dragon head. we'll just say that it's the skeleton of a giant, like not a giant humanoid, but an actual giant. But when you poke it, Guardian, where your finger touches, there are some small cracks that start to emanate from the ice, and the cracks keep stretching. It's like when glass starts to crack. There's a little break, and one of those little shards continues to snake its way up, and then more of it, cascades off, and the ice is slowly breaking off.
Everyone stand back. And I'm just gonna punch it this time so it breaks a little faster.
You do hear some singing off to the east. It sounds like an old lady.
Well, this is a good choke point to ambush someone. So yeah, I'm gonna break more of that ice just to get this thing over with.
So you're
Tracker
just gonna
comes back up.
Okay, I'm bringing up the turn order. If everyone can roll initiative for me, please.
Ooh, an 18.
This thing is actually going on 1. Hey, Varian rolled a 20. So it's still
have to roll again.
It's still frozen in ice. But the reason
I had my disadvantage clicked off. I don't know why.
Sorry, can you we heard what sounded like an old woman laughing?
she's singing, it sounds like an old woman singing off to the east, which is further down the cave from where you are.
And then this skeleton seems to have animated.
The ice around it is breaking away, which all started when Guardian poked it.
Okay. Got it.
We're in initiative order because time is starting to matter now as the ice is breaking away.
I don't know if we fight this or not.
Varian, did you have to roll another initiative roll? 7, okay.
That's more like it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, funnily enough, that puts the first action, the decision of what to do, to Suzanne. Would Suzanne do anything here?
I feel like I don't know if Suzanne would go after the skeleton. I feel like Suzanne would probably keep trying to go towards the food. I don't know what you guys want to do. Maybe she can get whatever's singing to come out.
I'll follow that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds true to Suzanne.
And we'll be heading over towards whatever else is going on.
It's that direction. So, Suzanne, there's a break in the tunnel. It continues north and then also winds to the southeast. The singing and the delicious smell, which is probably overtaking everything Suzanne has, is coming from the southeast.
So she'll probably head that way next turn, but that's as far as she can go.
Okay.
Unless she flies. I think she'll just walk.
Which takes us to Guardian.
Okay. As a player, are we fighting this thing or are we trying to get away from it? I feel like we're being hinted to get away from it if we're being given a turn order.
I just know Rorgar has nothing left. I got a few points to lay on hands. That's it.
Alright. Then I'm going to hold my action until the rest of the group has gone out of here.
Okay.
I'll once everyone else is out, I'll follow.
Okay. That'll move us to Varian.
I guess Virian's gonna have to disengage because he's within range of the giant skeleton.
It's not actually in combat. No,
we're not?
initiative
Okay.
thing is just so that I can keep track of you guys. So basically what's happening is you're going to have a number of turns before the ice is completely broken off of this thing. And I want to track what you guys are doing until that happens, which is why we have the turn order. But it's not actually swinging weapon
Gotcha.
at you that you would need to disengage yet. It's still in the ice.
Oh, okay. Then Virion is gonna follow Suzanne for his movement.
Okay. Which moves us along to Laja.
Okay, I'm going to head away from the skeleton then. That's as far as I can go. Unless I want to run, but I don't think we're at running time yet.
We're not at running time yet. I love it. Rogar.
I had an idea. If I was to use my cold breath on the frost giant skeleton, do I think that would solidify the ice, at least to buy us a few extra rounds?
I think it would. Yeah.
So I will do that. I will expend my frost breath. I don't know if you want me to roll damage.
Yeah, just roll damage. You don't have to roll to hit or anything.
Yeah, it's 2d6 cold. Good thing I didn't use it on like an actual thing I wanted to kill. But yeah, I will attempt to use my frost breath to kind of close up some of the seams in the cracking ice, and then is 30 feet to where Laja is.
Yeah, that we count that. Yeah, it's 30 feet. Each of the
Yep.
big squares, if that's helpful, is 10.
Can you move it for me?
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. So this frost giant, after you've breathed,
My held action triggers.
it's not actually. Oh, you're gonna follow behind it. That's right. You're gonna follow behind. Cool. This thing still hasn't broken out of the ice yet, by the way. So Rorgar's breath did have a small effect, closing up some of the cracks. But you guys hear as you turn the corner, it is still the ice is still breaking away. But I think that takes us to Suzanne.
Yes.
Suzanne gonna continue down the hallway. This may not be a good idea, but also she's small and not smart, so
So as Suzanne turns the corner, I'll describe this for the rest of you. What Suzanne sees is an old lady. She looks like an old human, and she's cooking something. She's standing over a big cauldron. She's dropping in like spices and ingredients and stuff, and it looks like she's dropping in pieces of meat into this big cauldron of soup that she's making. She's got like a big spoon, and she's turning it. There's a light floating over behind her, but she's just singing to herself as she's making her some dinner. But I think
Can we tell what she's singing?
She's singing quietly to herself, something like, yummy food, time to eat, something like that.
It's a classic in the 10 towns.
It was the #1 single last month.
it's a traditional folk song of her people. Can't judge that.
She's dropping pieces of meat in the pot. That's what you get for waking up in Vegas.
That's the Taylor Swift version. So, Guardian, you're going to move in?
Yep.
As you move in, I think she notices you at this point, and she looks up and she says, "Oh, hello, honey. Have you come for dinner?"
We did not receive an invitation, but we are here to avoid what seems to be a skeleton that might be waking up.
Oh, don't worry. That's just Franklin.
He's just gonna look at her and look back at everyone else like, I don't like this.
Says, "Why don't you come closer so I can see you?"
I have reached the end of my movement for this turn.
Well, perhaps next turn you can get closer.
Yes. Sorry, Josh.
It's all right. So yeah, Virian, as you turn the corner, you see this old lady. She looks like she looks human. She has long, very dirty hair that's coming off of her head. It's kind of thinned out a little bit. She's wearing some old torn rags, but she continues to stir at her pot. And she looks up as you enter, and she licks her lips actually, and she says, "Oh, another guest! Fantastic! I have plenty of food."
What are you making over there?
10-town soup, my specialty.
I'm gonna look back at Guardian and say, don't they sacrifice people to gods and food? Do you think this is like a people stew or something that she might be brewing up here?
Do you say this in common?
I'm just gonna like whisper it. So I feel like we're pretty far away. She might not hear it.
You're like 30, 40 feet, so yeah, you're pretty far away actually.
I'm just gonna shrug and like, I don't know. I don't eat food, so technically every food is food.
Right, good.
So I think that's it for Virian.
Yep.
All right, Laja, if you want to join the
Laja's
gang
gonna
here.
move up. It's still not running time though. So just walking. Which means I'm not spotted yet, which is good.
I just get the sense that Laja has an escape plan in her back pocket to leave all of you guys. But that takes
You
us
know
to
what? Fight or flight is hard.
Takes us to Rorgar. You're at the back of the pack. They've all circled around the corner here, except for Laja, who's just kind of gingerly going around the corner, but you were the last in the line here.
Yeah, my vision's cleared up a bit from the migraine, so I move to behind Virian here, and then as a action, I will use Divine Sense. I'll put that so you guys can see what that does again. And do I sense Celestial Fiend or Undead?
Actually, no, you don't.
Oh, okay.
This is
Well, that's
Oh
obviously
wait, I'm sorry, I lied.
woman.
You do sense that light that's hovering over her does feel like it's undead, if that makes any sense.
Undead?
The
Okay.
light that's hovering above her, you feel it as a separate entity, and it does tingle your undead spidey sense. I'm sorry if that's strange and vague, but that's what I got to give you.
No, it's not strange or vague because I think I know exactly what it is, but Rorgar doesn't. Friends, I get a very strange sense of this creature in front of us. Be careful.
Yeah.
Maybe don't eat that stew.
I'm pretty sure that's people stew.
And that's my turn. I moved action. I don't have bonus action.
Okay. Well, behind you guys, you hear like a snapping sound and like a clank clank, which sounds like big pieces of ice falling to the ground. But that takes us to Suzanne. Suzanne, the poor darling, that soup is what she's been tracking since you guys were on the plains. It smells delicious to her dirty, disgusting dragon appetite.
Yeah, I think she's gonna go and fly on over. She sees it, now she wants it.
Maybe she looks but doesn't taste yet.
And Suzanne,
She's waiting
as-
for the invitation.
Suzanne, as you peer your head over into the soup, you see floating in the giant cauldron are pieces of humanoid, body parts. There are
I knew it.
fingers and hands and feet and entrails and such floating in it. But, these are the things that Suzanne loves, so this does not seem out of the ordinary for her. The old lady looks to her and she says, "Oh, yes, come here, my dear. You are a very special welcome guest."
Does
Mm,
get a sense that this creature is evil or angry or an enemy?
Does Suzanne?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Guys,
Okay.
Suzanne has an intelligence of 5.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying no.
Because
Yeah.
I know Suzanne has a particular ability that would be very fun to use, but I don't know if we could say that she's ready to use it.
I think, you know what? Maybe she's waiting for us to join her. That's what we will
Yeah.
say. That is our excuse.
It's rude for everyone knows dragons find it very offensive if they are the first to eat. They
Mhm.
like their friends to eat as well. Common knowledge, everyone knows this.
She wants to take care of us.
Yeah.
I think that excuse will only last for 1 round, though, so we have to decide what to do.
Well, I think that takes us to Guardian.
I'm gonna rip off the old lady's head. No, I'm just kidding. Well, let's drag it over here.
And behind you, you hear Ollie say, "Oh, this isn't normal, guys. This is bad."
I'm just walking around this corner.
Friend owl, no shit.
You're just
Gonna
walking around the
motion
corner,
everyone else to follow. Yeah.
and she looks
You
up
know.
at the old lady. Looks up at you, Guardian. She says, "Oh, you are an interesting one. Why don't you come over? Have a seat. It must be cold over there."
Yes. Thank you. Once my friends are closer.
It's actually Virian's turn, but she looks over at Virian and she motions forward and she says, You, come here. You look very cold. It's warm here by the fire."
Virian only has an intelligence of 9, which is not much smarter than Suzanne. So Virian is going to, with a little bit of precociousness, approach, but not get right up close to her.
Well, you can
He's
actually. She's
Oh,
not actually lying. As you get closer, it is warmer. So that's one thing.
Yeah, but Virian also has his skepticisms that this is, a soup made of people, and he wants to get close enough to verify his suspicions are
Oh,
true.
remember, Rorgar did say that this was a creature. If that does help anyone with their decision making.
Okay. Virian, unless you want to do anything else, I think that's your turn.
I think is Virian able to peer into the soup from this distance?
10 feet away. Yeah, that's close enough. You can see the bits of obviously humanoids floating in this thing and
Okay.
pieces of body parts that you can't quite identify.
Virian's gonna yell back to everybody. There's people parts in this soup. Everybody, this whole thing is off.
It is strange that people parts smell so delicious, but okay.
I believe some tribes call it long pig.
Oh, oh. Yeah.
He says, this appearances can be deceiving. Why don't you come closer? Have a try. Have a taste. You might like it."
No, I'm gonna stay back here. Suzanne, I would advise against it as well.
But what's Laja going to do?
Laja, hearing that, will come in closer, not just run away. I promise I won't. So I'll move my full distance up. Um, what do I want to do? I don't even know what to do. I'm too busy being upset by the people soup. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Hmm. You know what? No, I'm gonna go up to Suzanne and I'm just gonna put a hand on Suzanne and prevent her from eating the soup.
Okay.
That'll be what I do.
That takes us to Rorgar.
Rorgar is going to move forward 30 feet to here. And then as he's rushing forward, he's pulling a item out of his pouch. It's a stone with a symbol of at far distance it probably looks like wheat. But if you were to look at it up close, it's a bundle of arrows that have been tied together. And he closes his eyes and says a quick word to Torm. And you see on the other side of this strange looking person, this Maud Chiselbone, even though we haven't asked her name, I don't know her name. You see right here an orc war chief appear. Oh, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And in Draconic, which this war chief will understand, Rorgar tells the war chief to attack the vile creature and points to this witch person.
So
And I'd like it to appear like here, like right next to her.
Okay, so right next to her. I've given
Yeah.
you his character sheet also, so you can control him and roll him initiative and everything. We're going to keep the initiative that we had before, but I have a few more things I need to roll, and I think you need to roll initiative for your war chief, Rorgar.
Sorry, I'm just looking for how to do that.
Yeah, there's a button
I
next
see.
to his.
Yeah.
It just says init. That's the initiative roll.
Actually, I don't see it. Sorry.
If you open the character sheet,
Yeah.
and then you go down to armor class, go to the right, and there's like a little dice icon that says init.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, perfect.
That'll do it. And that added him to the sheet also. Perfect. So let's see. That just puts them in initiative order, and we'll move on to the next round. But I think that was a move and an action for you, Rorgar. But yeah, this, to everyone else's surprise, this orc appears out of nowhere, just like he's supposed to. And he immediately follows what Rorgar says. He raises his axe and he swings it down at this old lady who's leaning over, just trying to make you guys a nice dinner.
Is it actually the war chief's turn? Oh no, it would
not yet.
come
We're
up
just going to
later.
flow him into
Yeah,
initiative
perfect.
order. That's what we're going to do.
I forgot that I did that on my turn.
Yeah. So behind you guys, off in the back, you hear another crash, and then a doom, doom, off in the distance around this corner. Sounds like something big is heading this way.
Is the ceiling pretty tall?
It's in this room. It's about 50 feet.
Oof.
It's very
that's
tall.
what
I
I
didn't
kinda
describe it
mean.
well, sorry, but it goes up into shadows. It's so tall.
All right, well, I'm just around this corner.
But that thing, that like ball of light that was floating over this lady, suddenly coalesces into the form of a creature and it moves towards this orc chief rather. If the orc chief can make a constitution saving throw for me, please.
Oh, you know we can.
21. That's good. So this ball of light grows really bright, and like little pieces of itself, like little tendrils of light, start stretching towards the chief, but they don't really seem to do anything. Like he seems to kind of shrug it off. But it takes a shock against him. Like it tries to buzz him with electricity coming off of its form. How's an 18 on this guy?
18 does hit.
Yep. So that'll do 9 lightning damage.
You
But-
did you say 8 or 9?
It's 9 lightning damage.
Okay. Here we go.
And that takes us to Suzanne.
Okay, Brad, how attached are you to your war chief?
Oh, he's got 84 hit points. Do it.
Okay, let's do a big burst of cold breath.
I'm so proud. It's the first time she's used it.
I think Rorgar looks on jealous.
I think that's going to get everybody. Yeah.
That's exactly why I asked.
The old lady passed. The
Say
ball of light
Constitution?
failed. Yeah, Constitution. Oh, the war chief passed. So just the light takes the full damage, and everyone else takes 10 damage. It's 11 damage because you have to round it up.
No, it's round down.
I thought damage always rounded up.
No, it rounds down.
Okay. Then 10 damage.
Yeah.
Little ball of light just completely evaporates.
And she gets it back. I'm so proud of her. I'm going to have her move around the pod a little bit. Over there.
Okay.
Does anyone on our team speak orc?
No.
No.
So you see when the war chief takes that damage, the war chief looks at Rorgar in orc. None of us understand that, even Rorgar. What the fuck's up with this little guy? I don't have an orc accent to do. So.
Work. What you want?
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, give us some Warcraft too. Hell yeah.
Takes us to Guardian.
I am going to hold my action. Actually, no, I'm gonna move up here because I'm hoping it's might have reach. Actually, I'm going to stay there. Actually, he wouldn't know that. I'm going to move up here and just hold action to take a swing at that giant if it comes this way.
Okay. And the old lady, she says, well, if it's gonna be this way, then I guess I'll just have to eat all of your remains. And her appearance drops away. She no longer looks like a little old lady. She looks like a hag.
Oh, that's weird. Never didn't see that coming.
With her terrible appearance revealed, I'm sorry, at the beginning of each of your turns, you're gonna have to make a saving throw to see if you're frightened of her. But to the war chief, she's gonna turn, and she now, with her revealed long claws from her hand, she takes a swipe at his face. How's a 23? Imagine that probably hits.
Oh, That definitely hits.
She hits him with 15 slashing damage.
Okay.
I think that takes us to the war chief. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Wisdom. All right.
He is frightened of her.
Okay. So he can't.
He can't move closer. He has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while she is in line of sight.
So even though he's frightened, clearly frightened, he'll move to here. And he'll let out a mighty battle cry. So any creature within 30 feet of it that I choose, and I think that includes everyone except maybe Guardian. It doesn't include Guardian, but everyone else gets advantage on their attack rolls until the next turn. And I can put that in the chat. So that includes Suzanne, Laja, Rorgar, Virion. They'll all have advantage on their attacks. And as a bonus action, he can still make one weapon attack. Can I click disadvantage on this? Oh no, he just automatically will roll 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he had disadvantage and advantage, so he's just gonna have just 15. And that will actually hit the lady.
Okay. If I click on the weapon, will it do the damage automatically?
Yep.
I think it should, yeah. That's
yeah, and it looks like
hit.
it does the math right because he does an extra D8 damage, and there it is. He rolled a 1 on it. But still, that's a pretty good chunk of damage.
Oh no, that's a solid hit. So he strikes
Yeah.
Maud very heavily, maybe across the chest, and she looks at him and hisses. But I think that takes. I think that
In
takes
common,
us to Virion.
Oh, lady, that's not Rogar's voice. Lady crazy, lady scary.
I am in love with this orc war chief.
I still chop with weapon.
So with that battle cry, that I guess that would cancel out the disadvantage from exhaustion for Virion.
Yes.
Wow. So Virion has 2 levels of. Well, okay. First, Virion, roll a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Oh right.
You will be at disadvantage from that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you're actually fine. You're not scared of her. You're not worried about her at all, and actually, you're immune to her ugly appearance for the next 24 hours.
Perfect.
Normally the way it works is that no matter how much disadvantage you have and advantage you have, if you have a level of disadvantage and a level of advantage, no matter how many on both sides you have, they can't cancel each other out.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if there was something that because it was exhaustion, it trumped out like spells or anything, but that's good to know.
And in this case, the battle cry didn't help you because I made you do a saving throw, and I think the battle cry only works on attack rolls.
Right, the battle cry is only for your attack. It's only for your attack.
Yeah, that's what I meant though. But that's perfect. So Virion's gonna pull out his longbow since he hasn't had a chance to use it in quite some time with all the wind, and knock an arrow and take a shot at this hag.
That'll hit.
Oh hell yeah!
Beautiful.
Look at all those bonuses.
It's big. For 8 damage from the bow, and as the bow hits, the penguins are gonna jump out of the soup and start swarming this hag.
And as the penguins swarm her, she takes one swing, and one of the penguins unfortunately goes and flies in the soup.
No, you monster! And that is it for Virion.
So, Elijah, at the start of your turn, you hear a ee as the penguin fries in the soup.
Oh, poor thing.
Klowowski, analyze.
And Laja, you are also not affected by the ugly appearance of this hag.
Beautiful. I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt.
And you have advantage.
I do. That is exactly why I chose
Cool.
that instead of something else.
Oh,
And you crit.
yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So your attack, this hag, as you strike it with a bolt, gosh, what's the best way to do this? So you hit her and she falls over, she clutches her chest as there's a giant just like hole straight through her, and she tumbles into the cauldron herself, and with a scream, she is no more. And at the same moment, coming around the corner, Guardian, you see this giant skeleton, and just as the hag screeches her call of death, the skeleton collapses into a pile of bones.
Nice.
Oh,
And
that's a relief.
that will end this combat.
How
So
much did she take?
what happens to the orc chief at this point?
He disappears after 10 minutes, so he without that creature to attack, he kind of just looks to Rorgar for instructions.
Virion would like to walk over to him and shake his hand and thank him for his service.
He doesn't give you a traditional handshake. He gives you the grabbing the wrist handshake.
Oh, of course.
And in orc, he says something that you don't understand.
And Virion will reply,
He suddenly gets a very offended look on his face.
and then Virion will wink at him.
Now he has a aroused look on his face.
I mean, he's only got a few minutes left, so time to go with a smile, I suppose. But Laja, if you can give me a history check. That's good enough. You look at the cauldron after the hag is gone, and you notice the cauldron. It's fairly large. It's probably 8 feet around and probably very, very heavy and large. But you notice that there's inscriptions all around it, and it's mostly of like elves and things dancing in the forest. But you immediately recognize what this is. This is a cauldron of plenty. And what this thing does is it creates food, lots of food. So this is actually a very valuable item, especially here in the Tin Towns. And it looks like what this hag was probably doing is she probably didn't like it. It looks like it would just make soup, so she was adding her special, seasoning, which happened to be the occupants of the Tin Towns that she'd captured. But this thing is actually pretty important.
Guys, I know we don't want to mess with the soup, but I think this cauldron is very interesting. Is this something that we would be able to bring somewhere?
Yeah,
It creates
you could
food.
move it.
Would this be something you guys would want to take with you? Or with us, I guess?
Yes, if we were to empty it, I think I could get over that it was used to cook human remains.
I said 8 feet. It's actually, the description is 4 feet, so it is much smaller. 50 pounds.
Okay. So that's not too bad. I'm like 8 feet, cast iron.
I was getting really excited about the, cauldron stirring, but it's much smaller.
Okay, in which case, I guess I'll see if anybody wants to help me try to knock it over, and we can get rid of the human stew.
Guardian will help.
And Rorgar will motion to the war chief, and we'll all, as a team, it'll be a bonding moment.